Something is moving in your life. Can you feel it? The shift is happening whether you see it or not. Doors you felt were locked forever are about to swing open. The weight you've been carrying, the battles you've been fighting, the silence you've endured, God is shifting it all. But the question is, are you ready? Too often we pray for change. Yet when it comes, we ask God to take us to the next level. Yet when He starts to shake the foundations of our comfort, we resist. We hold on to what? Even when God is calling us to greater things. Let me tell you this, when God moves, He doesn't ask for. He doesn't wait for you to be comfortable. He shifts things in ways you never. And if you're not ready, you might miss the very thing you've been praying for. Faith requires movement. You cannot wait until everything is perfect, until you have all the answers, or until you feel fully prepared before stepping forward. When God shifts you, He expects you to move. Too often, people hesitate, waiting for the ideal moment, waiting for a sign so clear that they cannot possibly doubt. But faith doesn't work like that. Faith isn't about seeing every step. It's about taking the first step, even when the rest of the path is unclear. When Peter saw Jesus walking on water, he asked, "Lord, if it's you, tell me to come to you on the water." Jesus simply said, "Come." Peter had no blueprint, no guarantee that he wouldn't sink. But the moment he stepped out, he experienced what no one else in that boat. He walked on water, but noticed something: he had to step out first. The miracle didn't happen while he sat in the boat. It happened when he moved. This is where so many people get stuck. They pray for, they ask God to open doors. They seek direction, but when it's time to take action, fear holds them back. Say, what if I'm not good enough? What if this isn't the right time? And so they wait. They stay in the same place, repeating the same prayers, waiting for a certainty that will never come. But faith is not about faith, it's about trust. You knew exactly how things would turn out. It wouldn't require faith. God calls you to move. Not because everything is clear, but because He is asking you to trust Him. If He has placed a dream in your heart, a calling on your life, or a shift in your spirit, your job is not to understand every detail. Job is to take the step. Think about Abraham. God told him to leave his homeland, his family, everything he knew, and go to a place that show him, not a place that was already mapped out, not a destination that was clearly defined, just a promise that God would guide him. And Abraham moved. He didn't wait for every answer. He didn't demand a clear route. He moved because he trusted God more than he feared the unknown. Is what faith requires: movement before clarity, action before full understanding, a step forward even when fear tries to hold you back. The problem with waiting too long is that opportunities have seasons. Just as the earth has cycles, so do God's plans for your. There is a time to prepare, and there is a time to act. If you hesitate too long, you might miss the window God has opened for you. Some people delay because they want a perfect plan. But perfection is the enemy of progress. If you keep waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect sign, the perfect conditions, you will remain stuck. God isn't looking for perfection. He is looking for obedience. He is looking for those who trust Him enough to move when He says go. There are people right now who feel the shift. God is calling you to something greater, but you keep telling yourself, maybe next year, maybe when I have more money, maybe when I feel more confident. But if God is shifting you now, that means you are ready. You may not feel ready, but God doesn't call the ready, prepares those He calls. If He is asking you to step out, it's because He has already placed everything inside you that you need to take. First step: fear will always try to keep you in the boat. It will whisper, "What if you fail?" But let me ask you this: what if you succeed? What if that of faith is the very thing that unlocks the you've been praying for? What if your willingness to move is the key that opens doors you never even knew existed? Staying where you are may feel safe, but there is no growth in comfort. Every blessing, every miracle, every answered prayer requires move. So whatever God has placed in your heart, whatever shift is happening in your spirit, don't hesitate. Don't wait for every answer. Move step forward. Trust that if God is calling you, He will sustain you. Faith requires movement. And the moment you take that first step, you will see that He has been with you all along. Transitions are not setbacks. They are setups. When life shifts unexpectedly, it can feel like everything is falling apart. Relationships change, doors close, and uncertainty creeps in. In moments, doubt whispers, "You've lost everything," going backward. You'll never recover, but what? What looks like a setback is actually God setting you up for something. What if the very thing you're mourning is the thing God is removing to make space for His plan? Look at. He was thrown into a pit by his own brothers, sold into slavery, falsely accused and imprisoned. At any moment he could have thought, "This is it. My life is over." Every loss was positioning him for something greater. The pit wasn't the prison wasn't the end. Those moments of struggle were preparing him for the palace when the time was right. God elevated him to send in command over all of Egypt. That seemed like a setback was a setup for his destiny. The same is true for you. That job loss, that betrayal, that unexpected change. It may feel like a setback, but it is God's way of shifting you. He is moving you out of places that can no longer hold you. He is closing doors that no longer serve your purpose. He is preparing you for something bigger than what you can see right now. The pain you feel in transition is not a punishment. It is prepare. The problem is most people fight the transition. They try to hold on to what God is removing, mourn the past so deeply that they can't see the future He is building. God doesn't take away to leave you empty. He takes away to make room for more. If Joseph had stayed in his father's house, he never would have made it to the palace. If he had fought to return to where he was comfortable, he would have missed the destiny God had for him. Yeah. This is why trusting God in the transition is critical. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask God, "What are you setting me up for?" Instead of focusing on what you lost, focus on what is coming. Because when God shifts you, it is always for your elevation. Your readiness determines your breakthrough. God is shifting, but are you ready? Everyone wants a breakthrough, but not everyone is prepared to receive it. The truth is, God doesn't pour new blessings into unprepared vessels. He doesn't open doors for those who are unwilling to step through them. He doesn't give more to those who refuse to handle what they already have. Readiness is not just about desire. It is about alignment. Think about David. Was anointed as king while he was still a shepherd boy. The calling was on his life, but he didn't step into the throne immediately. He had to go through a process of preparation. He had to face giants, endure battles, and learn how to lead. If he had received the kingdom without preparation, he wouldn't have been ready to handle the responsibility. The same applies to you. You may feel like you are waiting, but in reality you are being prepared. The struggles you are facing, the lessons you are learning, the endurance you are building, these are not delays, are training grounds. God will not release what you are not ready to handle. Some people miss their breakthrough because they are not positioned for it. They pray for opportunities, but refuse to develop the discipline needed to sustain them. They ask for financial blessings, but mismanage the resources they already have. They desire a new season, but refuse to leave the old one behind. God doesn't operate on emotions. He operates on principles. If you are not ready, He will not release the next level. Readiness requires action. It requires growth. It requires faith. It requires letting go of what is comfortable and stepping into what is unknown. If God is shifting you, that means He sees something in you that is ready for more. But you must align with His plan. You must position yourself in faith. You must declare, "God, I am ready," and then live in a way that reflects that readiness. The difference between those who step into breakthrough and those who remain stuck is not talent or luck. It's preparation. Are you preparing for what you are praying for? Are you aligning your actions with what you are asking for? Are you moving in faith? Or are you waiting for certainty when God shifts you? Isolation often comes before elevation. It's a painful truth most people don't understand at first. When God starts moving you to a higher level, He often separates you from certain people, places, and situations. What once felt comfortable begins to feel unfamiliar. People who once stood by your side begin to distance themselves. The spaces that used to make you feel secure now seem too small for the person you are becoming. Is not by accident. This is by design. Before God takes you higher, He often removes what can no longer go. Would you think about Jesus before He began His ministry? Before the miracles, before the teachings, before the crowds followed Him, He was led into the wilderness alone for 40 days, fasted, prayed, and fought off the enemy's temptations. Why? Because before elevation comes preparation. And preparation often looks like isolation. God had to take Him away from distractions, away from the familiar, away from anything that could interfere with His divine purpose. Same happens in your life when God starts shifting you. You may experience loneliness not because you are being punished, but because He is setting you apart for something greater. This is where many people struggle. They think isolation means abandonment. They feel like they are losing everything, when in reality they are gaining something far greater. The people who walked away, the friendships that faded, the opportunities that seemed to slip through your fingers. It's all part of the process. God is not trying to hurt you, is trying to free you from attachments that would hold you back. Sees what you cannot see. He knows what is coming. And He understands that some people and some situations cannot go with you into the next season. Think about an eagle when it is time for a baby eagle to learn to fly. The mother begins to remove the soft feathers from the nest. What was once a place of comfort now feels unbearable. Why? Because if the nest remains too comfortable, the eaglet will never leave. It will never learn to spread its wings and soar. So the mother makes the nest uncomfortable, forcing the eaglet to move. This is what God does. He allows discomfort to push you forward. The isolation you feel is not to harm you. It is to position you for your breakthrough. But here's the problem. Many people resist this. They try to hold on to relationships that God is removing. They cling to places that no longer serve them. They fight to stay in seasons that have already ended. This is where stagnation happens. When you refuse to let go of what God is trying to remove, you delay your own growth. You block your own elevation because you cannot take everyone with you. You cannot bring every part of your past into your future. If you want to step into what God has for you, you have to be willing to let go of what He has asked you to release. God is. And with that shift comes separation. But understand, this separation is not rejection. It is redirection. He is not taking things away from you to hurt you. Is making space for something great. The people who walked away were never meant to stay. The doors that closed were never meant to lead you forward. Fighting to keep what God is. Stop mourning what He has already let go. If He is shifting you, it is because He is calling you to something higher. And the higher you go, the less weight you can carry. Elevation requires separation, and those who embrace this truth, those who trust God enough to release what no longer serves them, are the ones who experience the fullness of His plan. If you feel isolated right now, if you feel everything familiar is changing, don't resist it. Don't try to run back to what's comfortable. That God is moving you forward. Trust that He is preparing you for something you cannot yet see. Because when the shift is complete, when you step into the new season He has for you, you will look back and realize that everything you lost was making room for everything you were meant to get. When God shifts you, discomfort is inevitable. Too many people pray for But when change arrives, they resist it because it doesn't feel the way they expect it. They want growth without discomfort, transition without uncertainty, and blessings without breaking. But the truth is, every major shift in your life will come with a period of discomfort. Growth is not comfortable. Leaving behind the old to step into the new is not easy. But if you are truly ready for what God has for you, you must be willing to endure the discomfort that comes with his shift. Look at Abraham. God told him to leave his country, his people, and everything familiar to go to a land that he would show him. God didn't give him a map, a detailed plan, or a full explanation. Simply said, go. Abraham had a choice. He could have stayed where he was in the comfort of the familiar, or he could have stepped into the unknown, trusting that what God had for him was better than what he was leaving behind. Chose faith overcomer, and because of that, he walked into the promise. That same choice stands before you today. God is shifting you, but are you willing to let go of what is comfortable? Are you willing to leave behind what no longer serves you? The challenge is that most people don't realize that what's familiar can also be what's limiting. They pray for a new season but keep clinging to the old one. They ask for a breakthrough, but resist the breaking process. They want the blessing, but are unwilling to endure the pruning. But God does not elevate without preparation. Preparation often comes wrapped in discomfort. The reason discomfort is necessary is because it forces movement. If everything always stayed the same, if life never pushed you out of your comfort zone, you would never grow. You would never step into the next level of your destiny. Just like a seed must break through the soil to become a tree, just like a butterfly must struggle out of the cocoon to fly, you too must endure the discomfort of transition. The pain you feel right now is not meant to destroy you, is meant to develop you. When God shifts you, obedience is. Too often, people ask for signs, confirmations, and reassurance before they wait until they feel completely ready before they take the first step. But faith does not wait for full understanding. Faith moves when God speaks. When Peter saw Jesus walking on water, he didn't wait for a guarantee that he wouldn't sink, didn't ask for a detailed. He simply stepped out of the boat. And as long as he kept his eyes on Jesus, he walked on water. The moment he looked at the waves, he began to sink. This is the problem many people face when God shifts them. They start strong, full of faith, ready to step into the unknown. But then they let fear creep in. They focus on the obstacles instead of the promise. They worry about what they're leaving behind instead of trusting what's ahead. Just like Peter, they begin to sink. The shift God is bringing into your life requires obedience. Even when you don't have all the answers, even when fear tries to hold you back, even when people don't understand if God is calling you to step out of the boat, you must trust that He will keep you from sinking. The late obedience is still disobedience. Too many people miss their breakthrough because they hesitate, wait for perfect conditions. They wait for approval from others. They wait until they feel fully qualified, but when God says move, He means now. The longer you delay, the more you risk missing what He has for you. The doors He opens won't stay open forever. The opportunities He presents won't always be there when He shifts you. Must be ready to move even when it feels uncertain, even when fear tries to hold you back, even when you don't fully understand where He is taking you. When God shifts you, faith must replace fear. Fear is the enemy of movement. It will convince you to stay where you are, to settle for less, to shrink when you were meant to rise. It will whisper lies telling you that you're not ready, that you're not qualified, that you might fail. But faith says, if God is with me, I cannot fail. Faith says, if He called me, He will equip me. Faith says, I don't need to see the whole path. I just need to take the next step. The reason fear is so powerful is because it magnifies the unknown. It makes the what-ifs seem bigger than they are. But fear only has the power you give it the moment you choose faith over fear. The moment you decide to trust God completely, you break free from the limitations that have held you back. Is a liar. It will keep you stuck if you let it, but faith moves, faith steps. Forward faith walks boldly into the future. Is prepared right now. Is shifting. You can feel it. The old season no longer fits. The things that once made sense now feel uncomfortable. The places that once felt safe now feel too small. That's because God is calling you higher. He is asking you to step out of the familiar and into the unknown. And though it may be uncomfortable, though it may require obedience, though fear may try to hold you back, you must choose faith, because when you trust God, when you surrender completely to His plan, see that everything He has for you, far greater than anything you are leaving behind. When God shifts you, you cannot remain the same. Change is inevitable, but your response to that change determines whether you will step into the fullness of His plan or stay stuck in a season you have out. Ground. Too many people resist the shift because they fear the unknown. But when God is moving, staying still is not an option. The old ways of thinking, the old habits, the old surroundings, they cannot go with you where God is taking you. The problem is that many people want a new season while holding on to an old mindset. They want to break through without letting go of the things that are keeping them bound. But God's shift is not partial. When He shifts you, He requires a full surrender. Think about that. When God led them out of Egypt, they had been in for years, crying out for. But when God finally delivered them and began shifting them into the promised land, many of them wanted to turn back. Why? Because the journey was uncomfortable. Because freedom required faith. Because stepping into something new meant leaving behind everything familiar. And though Egypt was a place of slavery, it was also a place they knew it was predictable. And for many people, the fear of the unknown is more terrifying than the certainty of suffering. But God did not deliver them to go back. Delivered them to move forward. And that same truth applies to you. When God shifts you, He will challenge everything that is keeping you from stepping into His promise. He will ask you to walk by faith even when the road is unclear. Will strip away the things that no longer serve you. And at times it will feel like you are losing control. But what feels like loss is actually preparation. What feels like uncertainty is actually positioning. Never removes without replacing. He never takes away without preparing something. But you must trust Him in the process, though. Many people struggle with God's shift because they confuse comfort with confirmation. Just because something is comfortable doesn't mean it's where you are meant to. Growth is never comfortable. When a tree grows, it must break through the ground. When a baby is born, it must leave the womb. Every major transformation in life requires a process of breaking, stretching, and stepping into something. And if you only follow what is comfortable, you will miss what God is doing, is calling you higher. He is calling you to something greater. But you cannot enter a new season with an old mindset. Obedience is the bridge between where you are and where God wants to take you. When He speaks, you must move. Many people hesitate when God shifts them because they want a full explanation before they step out. They want all the answers, but God does not always give. He gives direction. He told Noah to build the ark before there was rain. He told Abraham to leave his home without showing him the destination. He told Peter to step out of the boat before he knew he could walk on water. And every major shift, obedience was required before understanding. The same applies to you. You may not have all the answers. You may not know what's next, but if God is shifting you, your job is not to understand. It is to obey. Fear will try to keep you from moving. Will whisper doubts in your. It will tell you that you are not ready. It will remind you of past failures. It will magnify every reason why you should stay where you are. But fear is a liar. Will keep you stuck if you let it. The only way to defeat fear is to move in faith despite it. Faith is not the absence of fear. It is choosing to trust God even when fear tries to hold you back. The enemy wants you to stay stuck, knows that if you step into what God has for you, you will become a threat. So he will try to keep you in cycles of doubt, distraction, and hesitation. He will make you second-guess yourself. He will use people to speak against. He will try to convince you that you are not capable. But the fact that you feel resistant, this is proof that you are being positioned for something greater. Enemy does not attack what is not valuable. If you feel like everything is coming against you, it is because you are stepping into something significant. This is not the time to shrink. This is not the time to question whether you are ready. If God is shifting you, He has already prepared you everything you have been through. The struggles, the lessons, the waiting. It has all been preparation. Are not stepping into this season unprepared, has been preparing you all. And now it is time to step forward. Your faith will be tested in this shift. There will be moments where you want to turn. There will be times where you wonder if you made the right decision, but faith is not about feelings. It is about trusting God, even when it doesn't make sense, even when the road is unclear, even when everything you want to hold on to what is familiar. You must make a decision. Do you trust what God is doing, or do you trust your own understanding? God's shift will never lead you to less. It will never take you backward. It will always elevate, always expand, always prepare you for greater. But the question is, are you ready? Are you willing to let go of what no longer fits? Are you willing to step into the? Are you willing to move when God says move? Move because the shift is already. God is already positioning you, and what He has prepared is greater than you can imagine, but you must trust Him. You must move forward, because when God shifts you, He shifts you towards something better. There is a presence within you greater than any obstacle you face, mightier than any storm you endure. This presence is not outside of you, nor is it separate from you. It is the very essence of your being. You have been conditioned to believe in struggle, in fear, in doubt, but today you are being called to release it all. Let go of the weight you have carried for too long, for it is not yours to bear. The very thing you are worried about is already resolved in the unseen. The moment you surrender your worry, you open the door for divine intervention. You do not need to struggle, to beg, or to plead. God does not require desperation. He requires trust. He does not respond to fear. He responds to faith. What you hold in your mind, you hold in your hands. And if your mind is filled with doubt, fear, and worry, you will see more of the same in your life. But if your mind is filled with trust, with certainty, with the knowing that all is well, then your world must reflect this truth. You are not placed on this earth to suffer, to be lost, to feel abandoned. You are a child of the divine, an expression of the infinite, and you have within you the power to shift everything. The same power that created the heavens and the earth moves through you now. It is waiting for you to acknowledge it, to believe in it, to rest in its certainty. The battle is not yours to fight, for the victory has already been won. So the answer exists before the question is even asked. Look around you. Every star, every wave, every blade of grass exists in perfect order. There is no chaos in creation, no randomness in divine design. If the entire universe is held together by perfect harmony, how much more are you cared for? How much more are you seen, guided, and loved? You have been taught to measure your life by what your eyes can see, but what is seen is only a reflection of what is unseen. The truth is, the moment you ask, it is given. The moment you knock, the door is open. You are not alone. You have never been alone. Every moment of your life, God has been leading you even when you could not see it. Every hardship, every delay, every closed door was guiding you towards something greater. The divine plan is unfolding even now, and it is greater than anything you have imagined. Do not be deceived by appearances. What looks like an ending is only a beginning. What seems like loss is merely a passage to something better. Today, let go of the need to control, to overthink, to force things into place. Stand still and know that He is God. When you surrender, miracles begin. When you rest in faith, the path is made clear. When you believe, all things become possible. The burdens you carry are lifted. The fears that have weighed you down dissolve. The solution is already here. It is done. It is finished. Now, all you must do is trust. There is nothing in your life that is beyond the reach of God's power. Nothing too broken, nothing too lost, nothing too far gone. The mind has been trained to believe in limitations, in obstacles and impossibilities. But God knows no such thing. What you call a problem, He calls an opportunity. What you see as a delay, He sees as perfect timing. What you feel is overwhelming is nothing in the presence of the infinite. And so today you are being called to step out of worry and into trust. The mind will tell you that if you do not worry, you are being irresponsible. That if you do not struggle, you are not trying hard enough. But what if the opposite were true? What if your very effort, your very worry is the thing standing in the way? What if the moment you surrender, you allow the floodgates of heaven to open? You are being asked to do something radical, to trust that all is well even when your senses tell you otherwise, to direct your mind and to know that all your senses, let them know where you are. If you really believe in what you cannot yet see, to hold on to the knowing that the same God who brought you this far will not abandon you now. There is a divine intelligence that orchestrates all things. It knows the way when you cannot see it. It has prepared a path when you feel lost. It has already answered before you even asked. But worry blinds you. It clutters your mind with doubt and fills your heart with fear. Worry is a thief. It steals your peace, your joy, your clarity. And yet, it changes nothing. Not once has worry solved a problem. Listen and listen in action. Not once has anxiety made a way where there was none. But trust has moved mountains. Trust has parted seas. Trust has made the impossible possible. The problem is not that God is not working in your life. The problem is that you are looking in the wrong direction. You are searching with your physical eyes instead of your spiritual ones. You are measuring progress by what you can touch instead of what is already unfolding in the unseen. What you seek is already here, but you must align yourself with it. And alignment does not come through worry. It comes through faith. Have you ever noticed how effortlessly the sun rises each morning? It does not struggle. It does not force its way through the darkness. It simply appears as it was designed to do. This is how your blessings will come effortlessly, naturally, in perfect time. But only if you allow it. Only if you stop resisting. Only if you stop doubting what has already been promised to you. Everything that is happening in your life right now, even the things you do not understand, is part of a greater plan. The delays are not denials. The closed doors are not punishments. The detours are not mistakes. They are all pieces of a divine masterpiece, one that is being woven together in ways far beyond your comprehension. And when you finally see it come together, when you finally witness what God has been preparing for you all along, you will understand why you had to wait, why certain things had to fall apart, why certain people had to leave, why certain prayers seemed unanswered. But in truth, no prayer ever goes unanswered. Every word you have ever spoken, every silent cry, every whispered hope has been heard, and not only heard, but answered. The answer exists even now, but it is waiting for you to receive it. And you cannot receive with hands that are clenched in fear. You cannot receive with a heart that is burdened with doubt. You must release. You must open yourself to the truth that God is not just with you. He is within you. And within Him there is no lack, no struggle, no failure. What if you lived today as if everything you needed was already on its way? What if you spoke as if the solution was already here? What if you carried yourself with the confidence of someone who knew, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that their prayers had already been answered? Would you still worry? Would you still stress? Or would you walk in peace, knowing that all things are unfolding exactly as they should? There is a reason you are hearing this message today. There are no accidents in the divine order of things. God is speaking to you, calling you to a higher way of being. You have been trapped in worry for too long. You have allowed fear to take up residence in your heart for too long, but no more. Today is the day you release it. Today is the day you choose faith over fear. Do not wait for circumstances to change before you find peace. Do not wait for everything to make sense before you trust. Faith does not wait for evidence. It creates it. Faith does not need proof. It is the proof. And the moment you embody this faith, the moment you live in the certainty that God has already solved, your reality will shift. What once seemed impossible will become effortless. The doors that once felt locked will swing open. The path that once seemed unclear will be illuminated. You are closer than you think. The breakthrough is not ahead of you. It is within you. The moment you stop seeking outside of yourself, the moment you stop doubting, you will see it. God has already made a way. You do not need to fight for it. You do not need to earn it. You only need to believe. And when you do, everything will change. You have been searching for answers, trying to find solutions, trying to figure out how everything will come together. But the answer has never been outside of you. The answer has been within you this entire time. God has already spoken. He has already declared victory over your life. He has already set things in motion. And nothing can stop what He has ordained for you. You do not need to chase after what is already yours. You do not need to struggle for what has already been given. The only thing required of you is belief. And belief is not just a fleeting thought. It is a deep inner knowing, an unshakable conviction that no matter what appears before you, the truth remains unchanged. The truth is that you are taken care of. The truth is that you are guided, protected, and provided for. The truth is that the same power that created the universe is within you, working through you, unfolding every detail of your life in perfect harmony. Worry is a habit, and like all habits, it can be broken. You have become so accustomed to anticipating problems, preparing for disappointments, and expecting delays that you have unknowingly conditioned yourself to live in a state of fear. But you were not created to live this way. You were not created to dwell in anxiety, to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders. God never asked you to figure it all out. Chocanus came away. God never asked you to figure it all out. He never asked you to fix everything on your own. He only asked you to trust. When a child is in the arms of a loving parent, they do not worry about what will happen next. They do not question if they will be provided for. They simply rest in the certainty that they are safe. That is the kind of trust you are being called to embody. A trust that does not waver, a trust that remains steady even when the winds of life are strong, a trust that knows without a doubt that everything is already taken care of. Look back at your life. How many times have you thought that things were falling apart, only to realize later that they were actually falling into place? How many times have you feared the worst, only to be met with unexpected blessings? How many times have you doubted, only to later see that God had been working all along? If He did it before, He will do it again. He is the same yesterday, today, and forever. His promises have not changed. His power has not diminished. His love for you has not wavered. Right now, you may not see the way forward. You may not understand how things will come together, but that is not your concern. Your concern is to align yourself with the truth. Your concern is to hold fast to faith. Your concern is to speak only what you desire to see, to think only thoughts of victory, to dwell only in the certainty that all is well. Do not let the noise of the world distract you. Do not let the opinions of others shake your confidence. Do not let temporary circumstances convince you of a false reality. What you see with your physical eyes is fleeting, but what is unseen is eternal. What is unseen is what matters most. You are standing at the threshold of transformation. Everything you have been asking for, everything you have been hoping for, is waiting for you to step into alignment with it. The moment you stop doubting, the moment you stop resisting, the moment you release the need to control, the floodgates will open. You will see with clarity what has been there all along. You will realize that you were never waiting on God. He was waiting on you. The struggle ends the moment you decide it does. The burden lifts the moment you let go. The solution appears the moment you believe it is already done. Faith is the bridge between where you are and where you desire to be, and that bridge is already built. You only need to walk across it. Every delay you have faced has served a purpose. Every challenge you have encountered has strengthened you. Every hardship you have endured has prepared you. Nothing has been wasted. Not a single tear, not a single prayer, not a single moment of uncertainty has been in vain. It has all been working together for your good. And when you finally see the full picture, when you finally understand the divine plan that has been unfolding all along, you will stand in awe of how perfectly everything has been arranged. There is no need to fear what is ahead. There is no need to worry about how things will unfold. There is no need to question whether you are worthy of receiving the blessings that have been prepared for you. You are worthy because He has made you worthy. You are chosen, you are favored. You are loved beyond measure. Let today be the day you decide to trust completely. Let today be the day you release every doubt, every fear, every hesitation. Let today be the day you stand in the fullness of faith, knowing that what you have asked for is already on its way. Not tomorrow, not someday in the distant future, but now, in this moment, because the moment you believe, it is done. Close your eyes and breathe in this truth. Let it fill every part of you. Let it settle into your heart and take root in your soul. You are not alone. You have never been alone. And you never will be. Everything you need is already yours. Everything you desire is already unfolding. And all that is required of you is to receive. The universe is already moving in your favor. Every force in existence is aligning to bring forth what has been promised to you. There has never been a delay, only preparation. There has never been denial, only divine timing. The moment you recognize this truth, the weight you have been carrying will dissolve, the worry that has gripped your mind will release its hold, and peace will take its place. Then, very short, you will finally understand that nothing was ever missing. Everything was always unfolding exactly as it should. You have prayed, you have asked. But have you truly received? Have you truly stepped into the knowing that what you desire is already done? Or have you been waiting, hoping, hesitating? There is a difference between wanting something and living as though it is already yours. God does not respond to desperation. He responds to faith. Faith is not begging. Faith is not pleading. Faith is the unwavering certainty that what has been spoken will come to pass. But look around you. Everything you see was once unseen. Every breakthrough you have experienced was once a prayer. Every blessing you have received was once just a thought. And yet, here you are, standing in the reality of what was once only a vision. What makes you think that the next miracle will be any different? What makes you believe that God has suddenly stopped working on your behalf? He has not stopped. He has not forgotten. He has not changed. When a farmer plants a seed, he does not dig it up every day to check if it is growing. He does not question whether it will bear fruit. He does not doubt the process. He simply trusts, waters the soil, and waits in confidence, knowing that in due time the harvest will come. That is the kind of faith you are being called to embody. A faith that does not waver. A faith that does not question. a faith that stands firm regardless of what the physical eyes can see. You were never meant to struggle. You were never meant to live in a state of fear, uncertainty, or lack. These are illusions, temporary distractions from the greater truth that resides within you. The truth is that abundance is already yours, healing is already yours, breakthrough is already yours. But you must accept it. You must claim it. You must stand in the fullness of faith and say, "It is done." Every time you doubt, you delay. Every time you fear, you push away what is rightfully yours. Every time you focus on the problem, you strengthen it. But when you shift your focus, when you turn your attention to the certainty of God's provision, when you align yourself with the divine order of the universe, everything begins to flow effortlessly. The walls that once seemed impenetrable crumble. The barriers that once stood in your way dissolve. The doors that once seemed closed swing wide open. You have been conditioned to believe that you must strive, that you must fight, that you must struggle for what is already freely given. But what if you simply let go? What if you released every ounce of resistance and surrendered to the flow of divine grace? What if you stopped worrying altogether and stepped fully into trust? It is not your job to know how. It is not your job to figure out when. Your only responsibility is to believe, to trust so completely that there is no room for fear, to have such certainty that even in the darkest moments you stand unshaken, knowing that the light is already on its way. God is not limited by time. He is not bound by circumstances. He is not restricted by what appears impossible. What seems like a mountain to you is nothing more than a pebble in the hands of the Almighty. What seems like an obstacle to you is nothing more than an illusion waiting to dissolve. But you must allow it. You must step out of the way and let divine order take over. Worry is an act of distrust. It is a sign that you have not fully surrendered, and yet surrender is the key. Surrender is not giving up. It is rising above. It is choosing to release the burden and allow the highest power to work on your behalf. It is standing in stillness, not because you are powerless, but because you know that the greatest power in existence is already moving through you. The moment you stop resisting, everything will shift. The answers you have been seeking will appear effortlessly. The solutions you have been searching for will present themselves without struggle. The opportunities you have been waiting for will come knocking at your door. Because it was never about effort. It was never about force. It was always about alignment. When you align yourself with truth, the world around you must conform. When you align yourself with faith, reality has no choice but to mirror that faith. When you align yourself with divine timing, everything falls into place with precision, ease, and perfection. You do not need to chase. You do not need to beg. You only need to receive. Receiving is not passive. It is an active choice. It is the choice to trust when everything in you wants to doubt. It is the choice to believe when the world tells you otherwise. It is the choice to stand firm in faith, knowing that what has been promised is already yours. The noise of the world will try to distract you. The doubts in your mind will try to shake you. The circumstances before you will try to convince you that nothing is changing. But that is only a test. That is only a temporary illusion designed to strengthen your resolve. Do not waver. Do not give in to fear. Hold your ground and know that everything is working. This is not the time to question. This is not the time to hesitate. This is the time to step fully into faith, to declare with absolute certainty that all things are being made right, to move forward with the confidence that the way is already prepared, to live as though you have already received, because in truth you have. The moment you truly believe is the moment everything changes. Not tomorrow, not next week now, because faith does not operate in time. It operates in the eternal now. The moment you decide that you are free, you are free. The moment you decide that you are healed, you are healed. The moment you decide that your breakthrough has come, It has already arrived. You have spent enough time worrying. You have spent enough time doubting. You have spent enough time waiting. Now is the time to step fully into trust. Now is the time to release every fear, every hesitation, every ounce of resistance. Now is the time to stand in the absolute knowing that God has already made a way. Breathe in the truth of these words. Let them settle deep within your spirit. Let them dissolve every lingering doubt. Let them replace every fear with certainty. You are safe. You are loved. You are provided for. And everything you have been asking for, everything you have been seeking, is already on its way. Not because of what you have done, not because of how hard you have tried, but because you are a child of God and He has already declared it to be so. It is finished. It is done. And now, all that remains is for you to receive. The power that created the heavens and the earth is the same power that flows through you now. It has never left you. It has never been distant. It has never withheld anything from you. But you have been taught to look outside of yourself, to search for solutions in the world, to believe that your answer lies somewhere beyond your reach. That is the great illusion. The truth is, everything you seek is already within you. That every solution, every breakthrough, every blessing, it is already yours. But you must awaken to this knowing. You must stop waiting, stop doubting, stop believing that you are separate from the divine source that sustains all things. When you pray, do you pray from a place of lack or from a place of certainty? Do you beg for what is already yours, or do you give thanks knowing that it is already being granted? This is the difference between faith and fear. Fear prays as if God is far away. Fear prays as if there is uncertainty in the outcome. But faith prays with gratitude. Faith does not ask, it claims. Faith does not wonder. It knows. And the moment you shift from hoping to knowing, everything changes. You were never meant to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders. You were never meant to live in anxiety, stress, or fear. These things are not of God. These things are not your natural state. Your natural state is peace. Your natural state is joy. Your natural state is complete and total trust. And when you return to this state, the entire universe bends to meet you where you stand. Doors open effortlessly. Opportunities arise where before there were none. Solutions present themselves without struggle. Because the moment you align with divine truth, the entire fabric of reality must shift to reflect that truth. You have spent so much time trying to control, trying to fix, trying to make things happen, and yet you have not realized that the very act of trying is resistance. The moment you release, the moment you surrender, the moment you let go of the need to figure everything out, you will see that it was never your burden to carry in the first place. God does not need your struggle. He does not need your effort. He simply needs your trust. Look at the birds of the air. They do not worry about where their next meal will come from, and yet they are fed. Look at the lilies of the field. They do not toil, and yet they bloom in perfect beauty. If God so perfectly provides for them, how much more will He provide for you? You who are made in His image. You who are His beloved creation. You who are already held in His hands. Amen. But still you worry. Still you fear. Still you believe that you must take matters into your own hands, as if the one who created all things is not capable of guiding your steps. And yet each time you let go, each time you release your grip, each time you surrender the illusion of control, you find that life moves with perfect ease, that the answers come, that the solutions appear, that the weight lifts, that at last remonstrates that you were not meant to live in a state of waiting. You were meant to live in a state of receiving. And receiving does not require effort. It requires faith. It requires you to stop questioning, stop hesitating, stop wondering whether or not God is working on your behalf. Because He is. He always has been. He always will be. The only thing standing in your way is your own resistance. The moment you release it, everything will flow. The moment you stop doubting, everything will unfold. The moment you trust completely, you will see that the very thing you have been seeking has been seeking you all along. It has been waiting for you to align with it, to step into the certainty of existence, to claim it as already done. There is no delay in the kingdom of God. There is no hesitation. There is no lack. These are illusions of the human mind, distractions that pull you away from the deeper truth that you are already whole, already provided for, already held in the perfect love of God. And the moment you wake up to this truth, the moment you embody it fully, the world around you will shift in ways you never thought possible. You do not need to understand how. You do not need to see the full picture. You only need to trust. And trust is not something that wavers. Trust is not something that changes with circumstance. True trust remains unshaken even when the world gives every reason to doubt. True trust stands firm even in the face of uncertainty. True trust knows that beyond every obstacle there is a greater plan unfolding, a plan that is already set in motion, a plan that cannot fail. God is not waiting to bless you. He has already blessed you. God is not withholding your breakthrough. It is already done. God is not testing you to see if you are worthy. You are already chosen. The only thing left for you to do is believe it, to step fully into this knowing, to release every last bit of doubt, and step into the certainty that all is well, that all has been taken care of, that all is unfolding exactly as it should. Every time you worry, remind yourself that worry is a choice. Every time you doubt, remind yourself that doubt is an illusion. Every time you feel fear creeping in, remind yourself that fear is nothing more than a false story your mind has created. And in that moment, choose faith instead. Choose to trust, choose to believe, choose to know with every fiber of your being that God has already made a way. There are no accidents in your life. There are no mistakes. Everything that has happened, everything that is happening, everything that will happen, it is all part of a divine design, a perfect orchestration that is leading you exactly where you need to be. And when you stop fighting it, when you stop resisting it, when you stop trying to force things to happen on your own, you will see that everything is already in motion. Everything is already flowing. Everything is already done. It is time to step out of the struggle. It is time to step out of the fear. It is time to step fully into the knowing that you are already held, already loved, already taken care of. It is time to stop looking for signs, stop asking for reassurance, stop questioning whether or not God is working in your life. He is. He always has been. He always will be. And the moment you stop questioning, the moment you stop doubting, the moment you stop hesitating and simply trust, you will see that everything you have been waiting for has been waiting for you. You do not need to earn your blessing. You do not need to prove yourself worthy. You do not need to struggle for what has already been freely given. You only need to receive it. And receiving is not about effort. It is about surrender. It is about releasing every last ounce of fear, every last drop of doubt, every last trace of resistance, and stepping fully into the knowing that it is already done. Everything is working out for you. Every detail is being arranged in your favor. Every challenge is preparing you for the blessing that is already on its way. And when you truly understand this, when you truly embody this, when you truly stand in the fullness of faith without wavering, you will see that God has already solved it, that every prayer has already been answered, that every need has already been met, that everything you have ever desired has already been given. Now, the only thing left is for you to trust, to believe, to step into the certainty that you are already taken care of, to let go of every doubt, every fear, every hesitation, and finally rest in the truth that it is done, that it has always been done, that it will always be done. And the moment you do, you will see that the very thing you were searching for was never far away. It was never out of reach. So it was always here. It was always yours. It was always waiting for you to simply believe. So now stand firm in your faith, release every burden, every doubt, every fear. You are not forgotten, you are not abandoned, and you are not alone. God has already gone before you, preparing the way, aligning every detail, orchestrating every moment for your highest good. You do not need to struggle. You do not need to figure it all out. You simply need to trust. Trust that the answer is already within you. Trust that the solution is already unfolding. Trust that God has already solved it. And as you walk forward with this knowing, as you let go and surrender fully, you will see miracles unfold before your very eyes. You will see doors open that no man can shut. You will see blessings chase you down. And you will finally understand that all along, everything was working together for your good. It is done. It has always been done. Now simply believe.